You counted every calorie, tried every diet, spent hours in the gym, and still something's missing. You want more than just weight loss. You want your energy back. You want your confidence restored. You want a way of living that doesn't feel like punishment. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism, where we cut through the noise, ditch the fads, and give you a real plan to become the healthiest, strongest version of you. Hosted by our team of expert coaches with proven strategies, science-based tips, and real-life encouragement, not just to help you lose fat, but actually create that lifestyle that you love. You've tried everything. Now, let's try what actually works. This is your turning point. Let's go. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Master Your Metabolism. I am here with Calvin and our special guest, Amber Leigh.
Sure.
Welcome, girl.
Hi.
So I wanted to introduce Amber Leigh, and it was funny because she sent her bio and what she does in a day and in her life. And it's going to take me a minute to go through all of the things. I mean, besides the 300 shows she performs, fiddle and a singer, I think Calvin was saying like 18,000 steps in a show. Like that's how much she actually does.
Uh,
She also is an instructor with adults and kids teaching fiddle. She also not only performs, but writes her own music, produces her shows, schedules her shows, and does all the back end production, and has two small children. One of them is 15 months old. And then in her spare time, she also coaches and takes on clients to help them to transform. So, girl, thank you for taking a little break in your day. I mean, you have
listen,
all the time.
I'm gonna add even more to that because you're just kind of chipping on the iceberg right there. One thing in the midst of all that, competed again. We competed. We did this a few years ago, and she came back. I don't know if I talked her into it or she brought it up to me, and I'm just easy. Child being 15 months old, in the meantime, was in a prep and actually competed. And this I want to touch more on when we get into the talk a little bit. But she set a goal, and this is really cool. This is really cool. See, I just wanted to say, like, when we have this podcast, like, I like that we can get different types of people, but I like bringing competitors on because I know their stories. And people don't see the stories. They just see them on stage and they see them looking amazing. And then they don't realize how much goes into their life and what it took to get to that point to be up on stage. And I love to bring that side out and let people see what that these humans went through and had to go through that, they don't realize that, okay, well, maybe I can do this too. And that Amber is just I still don't know how she did it. I don't know, it's just, where does she get this energy? And she has so much energy that it's like, this is what it attracts me so much to her is her energy. It's just, and it's constant. It never stops, and she brings that into every single thing that she does, and so she prepped, she went into this prep and the cool thing was she had this goal. She said, I want to do a show when I'm in my 40s and I want to win. I want to get first place. And then, of course, I tell her, I say, well, Amber, there's never a guarantee you're going to win. We don't know who's going to show up on stage that day. Amber didn't want to hear that. We went into this prep and we came out and guess what happened? Amber won. She got first place because that's just how she does things. And I think her energy and her smile, I mean, I don't know how she's ever going to lose in anything with that. I think there's nothing in life that she can't do with that. And I've seen a lot of her journey, like coming up from, she used to entertain down here at, what was the name of that place on the beach? Was it before you actually went to Nashville?
Bo-
Boston's right.
Boston.
So, and it's such a cool thing because her dad, who is actually a music teacher, and it's just coolest guy in the world, right? Music teacher, loves to work out. He's like 6'3" or 4. He's huge.
Yeah.
And just to see him, you're pretty intimidating, right? And so, but just the nicest guy. And he just loves music. He loves to work out. And it's just, and now Amber is like a little mini him. It's just, like it was the coolest thing going to their house after the show, and they invited me. They were nice enough to invite me over for dinner after. She didn't, after putting her through all that with the prep, that she still wanted to feed me. And so I went over and it was just really just cool seeing the family together and just to see where she came from. The mom's an artist, the dad's an artist with music, and just you just see this is true art. in living form. Like, they live and breathe art, the family does, and it just comes out, and just the vibe was just next to none, and so really cool to be a part of it, to see her have this goal at 40, come in and then smash it, and then be able to be there to celebrate after, but also know that all the things that she had to go through to make that happen, and as a coach, you're gonna have some clients that you have to kinda pull, you have to stay on top of them, and it requires a lot of energy and focus to do that, and it can be a little taxing sometimes, and then sometimes you have these clients that just bring this energy and really help you remember why you do this, and that's Amber. Like, I light up when I know she's coming back on because she reminds me of why I love coaching. It never doesn't complain, and the check-ins never, and always just staying positive and going for it. When there's trouble, we don't stress, we just get through it. We find an answer, and we hit trouble just like everybody else does. We hit our spots,
Mhm.
but we work through it, and it's just something that we wanted to share with people and have you on the podcast and let them get a little piece of Amber and know why we coach her so much in the stories and everything, because I think she's somebody that people should really kind of, learn from.
And
So,
what's cool is that I also know her kids and I watch her kids and see that they are now, she has modeled that with her children. And just like it was modeled for her, now I see it in her daughter, and her daughter is getting her little pro card, that shield color. She is the one that is out there working out. She is out there playing. And her thing with her music, and it's to be able to see just it being passed on and you being that role model, which, despite the competition, right? But as a mom, like
Mhm.
juggling all that, that's a lot. And most women would be so overwhelmed, shut down, can't do it. So, my first question to you is, when you have someone that may not want to compete, but are just looking to improve their health, looking to prioritize their selves, because many times we do everything for the kids and don't put ourselves first. But
Mhm.
you've done it right, that you do put yourself in a place so it allows you to do more for your kids. So, what would be some of the things that you find that are helpful, that keep you in a place that you can keep that energy, that you can stay positive, that you can provide that type of modeling for your kids?
Mhm.
Because it really does make a difference in how their happiness and their well-being.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first thing is, like you said, making sure that you have a clear idea of what you want to accomplish, because it's really hard to start to prioritize yourself when you have little kids. It's really hard to put yourself first if you don't exactly know what that looks like. So for me, I was married to Matt for almost 10 years before we became parents. And we were very much like in our, little world, taking care of each other. That was really easy. And we were very comfortable doing that. And so, getting to the gym was no problem. We kind of created that habit, but it was easy. I mean, when it's just you and you only have to worry about your schedule, it's absolutely no problem. So when Sierra, our daughter, came along, which was about a year before the COVID madness, it was, like a huge shift as far as, how do you actually get to the gym? How do you navigate that with your spouse? Because my spouse also wanted to go to the gym. So now, you're having to shuffle the schedule. So figuring out what that has to be, and obviously having a partner who's helpful is very, I'm very lucky with that. He was always like, okay, I will watch the baby. You're going to go to the gym. Okay, fine. But then when COVID hit, basically like trying to redo the entire thing, that's actually when I got in touch with Calvin, because I was so incredibly lost. All of a sudden, I was at home, not working, not playing music. All shows were canceled, everything. And I didn't know if I should be putting myself first at all. So that was a big question in my mind. Like, now what do I do? Do I spend some money on some gym equipment for the house? Do I actually do that? It didn't feel right. Now it felt like I was taking from my family, especially in those times where, employment for musicians was, we didn't even know if we were going to come back to work. So, the first thing I did was I went on Facebook Marketplace and I bought some dumbbells. And I was like, well, this is what we have. So then it just kind of became, oh wow, this is actually easier. Um, to get the workouts in, to actually have some me time when I'm home, because now, during nap times, that it actually was a huge blessing, because now all of a sudden it was like this huge window of time that was opened up, that we didn't have to worry about juggling anything. And then it became really wonderful when she was just a little bit older, and she was always in our little rec room that we created, this little makeshift gym. And then it was, we're not actually taking time away from her. Now we're spending time with her, doing something that is, shaping her to feel comfortable, feeling good, moving her body. Little kids love to teach their parents, so I always let her like choose the warm ups, and she makes me do jumping jacks. And we do, I put a timer on, and and it's just, she just feels so proud, and she feels so, and it's like so natural, that was that was kind of a really nice silver lining of, a shift in how you incorporate that. So I would say the biggest thing that I didn't foresee happening was like that mom guilt of leaving and going to the gym was always there. But if you somehow are able to incorporate your family into it, all of a sudden you're not taking away anything. You're actually giving them that time with you, and you're getting your time that you need as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think I see that also with you when you're doing your prep and you're cooking and doing the things, and people are like, I can't eat healthy because then what I'm going to do for my kids.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's been a really interesting thing too, because like Sierra growing up, I've been with Calvin for quite a few years now, and it has always been in like her this really really important developmental phase of like, mommy, why are we eating this way, and mommy, why are you weighing your food? That's always been an interesting thing, especially for girls. I've always been very careful about how I word things, but the biggest thing is, hey, mommy is making sure she's eating enough to fuel her body. And when I have a competition, I'm eating very specific foods, because I have to make sure my muscles show. That's kind of the big thing. And she'll walk around the house going, look, I ate all my chicken. Look at my muscle. She thinks it goes right to her arm
Oh my gosh.
It
automatically.
does.
Yeah. So, she's very, it's just kind of part of what we do. And of course, my husband isn't as he doesn't compete, so he doesn't have to do everything to that degree. But he knows like all about macros, and she knows all about, making sure that if you're going to do something at a competitive level, whether it be music or bodybuilding, that you have to be very careful about how you practice your instrument, and then how you practice your lifting and your eating, and everything needs a plan. And of course, things don't always go to plan,
Mhm.
but she's seeing all of that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Love
it's
that. That is
so
the
much to
breathing
that.
sweat.
It really is so much to that. I mean, there's so many different things I was hearing in that, and one of the things that just really stood out with that is that what I picture is you created something in the home, through this, which can be viewed from a negative place or a positive place depending on who's looking at it. And what you did is you created a space that became your all's space together. And she sees you going through this process and doing these things, putting that effort in, but you're having a positive outlook on it. You're doing it for a reason, but you're also explaining why you do these things. She wants to be a part of it because she sees it makes you happy,
Yes.
but she sees the big picture of everything and what it goes through. So she's learning work ethic, but she's also learning that you can work for something and it doesn't have to be bad. You can actually enjoy working for something, and putting that effort in and knowing that, and it's seeing that the things that you want in life aren't going to typically come easy. They take day after day after day of work and
Yeah.
doing it, but make the journey fun, and she sees those things. And that's why she wants to emulate you. And it's crazy for
Right.
anybody listening that you should really follow Amber's Instagram or Facebook to see, because she'll post these videos, with her and her daughter and these videos, and you'll see, you just know it. You just see it with it. And it's just fun to watch, and it just really kind of makes you realize,
Yeah.
there's so many different ways to create that connection with your kid.
Yeah. For sure. And Sierra's 6 now, and I remember vividly, my dad, he was a musician, he still is a musician, but I mean, that is probably why I am the way I am. He would take me to the gym all the time. and he would show me like what he was doing. He would explain it. And at the time, I didn't really think it was that interesting, but it obviously made an impression. He would take me out for runs all the time. We'd go running. We do, and we would like set goals. And now like Sierra's favorite thing is sprint Saturdays. We always go out and we sprint from our mailbox to the stop sign and we time each other. Like we time ourselves and we're like, who can go faster? Of course, I'm still like beating her, but I give her a head start because I'm like, all right, I'm bigger, but she's getting faster every week. It's just, and those happy endorphins are a big thing. Every time I start to see her a little bit like, oh, there's like a behavioral thing or whatever, I'm like, oh, maybe this week we had a little too much like TV, or we didn't have enough like one-on-one time. I'm like, we're gonna go out for a run and get some sunshine. Just the other day it was cold in Nashville. It was like 20 degrees and she's like bundled up and she gets outside. She's like, Mom, this feels great.
My guy, I could totally see her doing this. Totally see that.
My heart, yes, yes, and it's not necessarily that we're running together. It's just that like we have that one-on-one time. And so like no matter what you're doing with your kids, just doing something like I just remember just being with my dad, just me and my dad. And it sticks. It really sticks. So
Awesome. You guys with your matching shorts.
yeah, Target. Well, that's the good thing about Target because, the kids run really, really, really big. So I can wear like the extra, extra, extra large shorts in kids and I get her the extra small. So
Right. Right. The thing is you still can and take on all the 300 shows a year and teaching, the and coaching client and also finding time to go to the gym, but you found a way to make that work and still have family time and actually get that bond and
yeah.
actually teach them all the things that comes with it. Like that's
Yeah, she
amazing.
has, like, 30-hour days, like
Yeah.
most of us have 24. She's got an extra few thousand hours in in her week.
Well, it can be done. You just have to choose the things that you'd want to do in life and go
Yeah. I
for it.
actually I actually really prioritize sleep. Sleep is, and Calvin knows,
I can
I'm like, if I don't get 9 hours of sleep, sometimes 12 is better.
yeah.
But if I don't do that, that honestly, I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't have to sleep that much. But I do. I need it. And yeah, you just gotta carve out carve out the time.
It has that's our nemesis right there. When I get the blood work, I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna open them, and then hopefully everything's great."
Yeah,
And
everything's great.
I'm like, "There it is. Blood sugars are up again." Like, "Okay, here we go. Amber, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, get this girl some more sleep. She needs more sleep.
More days."
Yeah.
So, but you're
Yeah.
still making it happen. That's the thing. And you're just getting started as far as I'm concerned with the competitions because 'cause we're back up and running again this year and already mapping out the shows that you wanna do. You
Mhm.
know? And, I think that last prep, I think we did a pretty good job of, not stressing your body out too much and still accomplish the goal, so that gives us a little bit more time to kinda rehabilitate your body and get you optimal, so we're gonna turn the wrench this year. We're going for the jugular. We're going tough this year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, this last show was kinda like a wild card. I think we had touched on the fact that I wrote down this goal last January 1st. I said, I turned 40, I had a baby, I was like, "I need to do something." So I wrote down this huge lofty goal, which was, "Let's win first place in bikini." Okay, yeah, right, that's never gonna happen, right? So I wrote it down, and in a few months into the year, I took the paper and I was like, this is never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And I just kept hammering with my workouts and with my food. And I kind of turned a little bit of a corner. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll just do one. There's one here in Nashville, it'll be really easy. So that's when I called Calvin. I'm like, hey, just for fun. Let's see what happens just for fun. And I think that was important because it was almost like a pressure-free
Yes.
situation. It was like, let's just do our
Yeah.
best because I have a lot going on. I have a brand new baby. My husband broke his arm. Yeah, he was in a sling.
Yeah.
I was doing, a whole bunch of different things.
And you got hit with that big medical bill and all this stuff. It was a
Huge,
lot
yeah.
this
Our
year. It was
son
a
ha
lot.
our son had a huge surgery. It was just a year, and I just needed that, like, that little bit of focus for myself, just to keep sane, and I know that sounds weird because everybody's like, "Oh, you need one more thing on your plate," and I'm like, "Well, actually, it takes so much pressure off." when Calvin says, "Hey, you're gonna do this, this, and this. Follow the app." Okay,
Just do what I say.
got it. Yeah, and then you don't. You almost just you don't even have to think about it. Just do what he says, and we're good.
But it was for you, it's almost like that distraction, right? You have so
Mhm.
much going on. You needed something you could control and you needed something you could focus on when your world is crumbling. Like a lot of people will focus on the world's crumbling rather than choosing what it is that they could focus on and stay positive with and stay true with and to find the resources that'll allow it to happen easier,
Yeah,
right? Not
just
trying to do it all on your own.
and what
Yeah.
she did mention is we actually tried the prep earlier this year. Like, at the turn of the year, we went in, we were gonna go for it. We're like, "Let's just do it this year, it's been long enough," and then the surgery came up, and then she's like, "I can't right now," I'm like, "No, no, you don't wanna do this right now for sure," and pull it out, and I didn't think we would be even think about it again until 26, and then sure enough, she stayed with it. She kept doing her workouts, and I see it, I'm like, "Man, she's getting in good shape, she's doing this." And
Mm,
then we got on the phone and we're like, "You know what? Just see what we can do. Let's just see. Let's just happens." So and the rest is history. So now when it comes
yeah.
next year, we just have to beat that.
That's right. Well, and I think like not, there were so many setbacks. There were so many this year. But the big thing is like don't count yourself out if you're still taking the small steps. Like all of the big things were happening, but I was still every day, even though it wasn't perfect. It was not. It was far from perfect. But every day I was at least trying to get as much as I could done. So, it adds up. At the end, this show was at the very end of the year. It was November 1st. I was like, oh my gosh, I made it. And then I had my little paper, gonna win in my 40th year. I'm like, whew, phew,
But
made
it's
it like just in the nick of time, but
yeah.
it's just those little things that add up. And even the days tick by and you're either going to be doing the right thing most of the time or you're not going to be doing it at all, and that's been a big struggle for me. I'm as you guys can probably tell, I'm an all or nothing kind
Really?
of kind of
Really? But it's great that you are at all or nothing, but you were still able to shift and to
yes.
say, "Okay, it may not be perfect," because there's many people that we work with that are that all or nothing. That'll say, "Well, I didn't get to the gym or I could only do like 30 minutes, so forget it. I'm just not gonna go." Being that type of person and then still having that flexibility is huge,
Yeah.
and still just again saying, I couldn't be perfect, but just having a little bit, like that's what kept you going. And that's probably what allows you, although you all that all or nothing,
Mhm.
make it happen, but you realize not everything has to be all or nothing. The steps it takes still
Mhm.
could be a little bit just moving in the direction that you want to go. So I love
Yeah,
that.
I just that's a great example, not just for her kids, but for everybody else, is that when times get tough, people just count themselves out, they just give up and say, "Well, I just can't do this right now." You can, if you dig and you find a place that you really wanna do it, you're gonna make it happen, and she did. There was way too many things going against her this year. I was shocked she even agreed to get back into the prep, and that's why we took it like, let's just do the best we can and just try to enjoy it,
Yeah.
but that changes, that position changes when you start making making, progress with it, and you start seeing things happen, and you realize, "Okay, we can do this." I think that's anything in life, and I
Mhm.
think too many people just throw in the towel, and that's why they get stuck, where they are, if they just have that mentality of like, "You know what? I think I can still do this. I think I can go it, but let's just not put the pressure on ourselves. Let's just see what we can do." That one simple decision can change a person's life, if you think about it. Just that one decision, and this is proof.
Yeah.
She followed through with it, and she hit that goal that she had, which she was about to throw that away, and we did it. So it's like we can't stop there. Now we have to take it to the next level. That's what we do.
I
Well,
think
and
it's
it's
very
and for parents, like accepting help, making sure that if you are struggling with anything, in this case, I was struggling just keeping myself afloat with my fitness and my food because it is. I mean, it's hard. It is the easiest thing to just, grab something on the way out of the house. It's way easier than planning and shopping and cooking. And I mean, it's easy. The big thing with the prep was I just let Calvin take over and I let him help me. and I didn't feel like everything was on me. And as a person who is decision fatigued all the time because just,
Yeah,
life,
you have to choose.
having one person like Calvin and you, Brooke, to help just manage that and keep, it almost feels like, yes, I'm doing something right in my day because I can at least let them tell me what to do and I just do it.
Yeah.
There's no question. I just have to do it. I don't have to make a decision on whether or not it's going to be done today. No, it's going to get done because he told me I needed to do it today.
And it just makes it go so much smoother when you just know that they're doing what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
It's just a game changer when it
Yeah.
happens. And that's why you got where you got to, because you
Yeah.
do that. And I don't know how many people have worked in the entertainment industry. I had a good part of my life where I was a part of that as well, not to your extent, but I grew up with it. My dad was a musician and it's
Brenda Lee?
it's Brindley, yeah, yeah, see that, yeah. So that was my younger years. Yeah, but then so I know the challenges with that. It's a very tough place to have a fitness mindset because there is a lot of, after the shows, they have drinks, and you're kind of on the go, you're on the road a lot. So many challenges with it. So I don't think people realize that when they're in it because they see the glamorous side of it. But it can be a tough life, it can be a very tough life and you don't always have the options that most people would have and especially traveling, like you're lucky now in the sense that you have a home base.
Mhm.
But, for people that do travel, of course, things are different now. They have online coaches and they can just go pick a gym, but you still have the challenges of after of people wanting, "Oh, hey, let's have a drink and let's go out and whatever," and you have that energy after the show that you have to come down from,
Mhm.
which I don't that for prep has to be very challenging. It has to be very challenging, and not to
Yeah.
mention the water loads on peak week.
Oh my gosh. I I definitely had to use the bathroom backstage on numerous occasions, and everybody knows that, that is that's like a running joke. They actually drew a sketch of
Oh
me
my god.
in a bikini, like, flexing and, like, peeing into something. That was, like, backstage. That
Yeah.
is, like, hanging on one of the bulletin boards backstage.
So just so the people that
But,
don't
yeah,
know,
I
let
mean,
me just tell them.
everybody thinks of me as probably the most boring musician on the planet because I don't drink, I don't like to party, I definitely am in bed at 8 o'clock if I can help it, and
Sorry,
I'm up.
guys. Peace out. You have like 12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, up early, making sure all my food's in, like, little Tupperware, but at the end of the day, it's really interesting because, when you keep doing it and people are seeing that, you do have this energy and you do feel good and, let's face it, you look good, that's always a huge perk. Um, you know, they wanna know how you do it. I mean, and it's really not that hard. The hardest thing is just, like, finding the pockets of time, even though it might be unconventional. Like, I cook dinner usually at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's when because I know, like, my
Day,
dinner time hour with kids and all this, I need that stuff ready and in the refrigerator and ready to go, and that's just what works.
great day.
If I wait till the end of the day,
You won't.
it's not gonna happen. So, everything is, like, planned out, the kids are all set, everything's good. The dishes at my house are insane because the amount of Tupperware, it's just,
Yeah.
you guys know.
I know
So
that's the thing. There's a couple of things there I just had to poke at for sure. For one, for the people that don't know, in peak week, we water load. So we'll turn up, we pretty much double the water that we drink, or if anything, very least a half a gallon more. So she's at about 2 gallons a day. And I know a lot of people having trouble drinking a gallon. Imagine 2 gallons and she's what, 5'2"? Is it, am I getting that right? 5'2". And then so that's a lot of water, folks. It's a lot. And
a
she has to
lot.
get on stage and entertain and dance. And I just feel horrible just doing it to her, but put in more time that we gotta do
Some of
this.
the dances we know, it's like that pee dance, and we know it,
Launching.
we know it, nobody else knows it.
But then the other thing too is when things go wrong, and not losing your mind about it, because I know when we were in peak week, I mean, like you guys know by now, Amber's gonna nail it, right? She's gonna do all the things, but not everything's in her control. So she had in the refrigerator her food packed and ready to go for it was your show day food, wasn't it? All
Yes.
laid out perfectly and everything. You wanna tell this story? I think you tell it better than me.
Well, I had a week of shows that actually they were rescheduled to peak week. Like, I had peak week off. I was ready to, like, just chill and just get my mind in bikini competition mode, not like musician mode. And this entire block of shows got moved earlier. And I ended up having to play every single day during peak week and perform every single day and night. And so I was like, well, it is what it is. I'm just going to be over prepared. So I had my list from Calvin. I had everything in the refrigerator ready to go. Was it the day before? The day
I
before the
think it's
show?
the day before, because what people should know with this is that peak week is the big thing that you want to achieve, if nothing else, is to bring stress down,
Yeah,
lower
no.
stress week. And already we're going against all this. And then finally the day before, I'm like, well, we made it. We made it. Okay. Day before, what happens?
Well, I go in the refrigerator to pack all my food to take to the show, and my husband had accidentally eaten
All of
all
it.
all all of it.
It's
And
right before she had to leave on the day before. I'm like, boy,
Calvin's at the airport, and he calls me. He's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I am not good. I
When
am not good."
not okay. Just send help.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Matt. I had to bring that up because that's one of the funnier stories. I can laugh about it now. I know. That's
But you
probably
still
the
got it
closest
done.
I've seen Amber is to be mad, and that was like a level 3 mad. It wasn't like, you know, but yeah, she was thrown off in that one, and I'm sitting there like, I have no idea what to tell her right now to do. Just yeah,
Just pivot and figure out, we ate I ate a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't very happy about, but it was
yeah.
fine. And, it was okay. But I told Matt, I said, "Hey, it was my fault because I did put it in the fridge and it should have been very clearly labeled, do not eat Amber's food."
Lady.
Don't worry. All the women that are married out there completely understand this right now. Trust me. Trust me on this. I know. I'm a guy. I get it.
Yeah. But again, it's all how you looked at it, right? It's all like it was a mess, but you just said, listen, it is what it is. And I can either get pissed off and be in this, or remember that it's peak week and I can't, or it'll mess up my body and then I'll be in a worse shape. So I'm just going to go ahead and focus and get something done and make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I had some frozen cod in the freezer and I had 30 minutes to get out the door to the show, and I threw it in the oven. I was like, I hope it's done by the time I leave. And
yeah.
it was fine. So, you
For
know.
future reference, air fryer, 15 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have an air fryer.
Really? In that beautiful kitchen of
What?
yours?
Yeah, I don't have one.
All right.
Yeah,
Be a nice
yeah.
holiday gift for you.
Christmas. I think somebody
Let
needs
Matt
to.
know
Any
Right.
competitors
times
out
that
there,
didn't
if you're
happen.
new, go get an air fryer. All right.
Oh, get
You're
an air
welcome.
fryer. I know, it's one thing that, like, I feel like it's a sin. Everybody's like, "Oh, it makes your life so much easier," and I haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
But it does
15
make the
minutes.
food just taste so good. Like even the vegetables, I love vegetables in an air fryer. Love them. It's just completely different and it makes them crispy. There's a lot of things you can do. And I'm not even like a foodie and I get excited about it. So it's like, it's definitely must have.
But it's great for like the last minute. But I love the idea that you said that you wake up earlier to get stuff ready for the nighttime. Because just like everything else, if you know it's done, it's because things will come up during the day. You'll have every reason to like go get fast food or go do something. And to have it
Mhm.
already prepped also gives you that time with your family that you know will always be there. So I like that idea a lot. I mean, not just for prep, but for people in general that have families that like cooking dinner every night, like to make it earlier. And that way you just have to heat it up.
Mhm.
Brilliant. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, works.
That's the stuff. And I'm sure that's the stuff that she's showing her clients, when she gets out. And really the biggest part of being successful in whether it's a prep or lifestyle, whatever your goal is learning how to manage your food, learning that you do want to um, account for all of it because that's going to be the main reason why you lose weight. And so if you can achieve that and make it that part of your lifestyle and find ways to make it easy, you're going to succeed, not just for now, but in the long term. So little things like what she's talking about there are huge. They're golden nuggets, to take
Yeah.
with you. You hear it a lot with people that are in prep. That's why I like to bring competitors on because we're kind of the extremists, and we do a lot of stuff out of desperation, but it actually can get people to be more successful on the outside, and managing their food. But those are golden eggs. So air fryer, Pre-make the food, make your life simple.
And the
Yeah.
kids part of it, it's a lifestyle, right? So with competitions, it's more of the extreme, but the basic foundations of what you're doing, of getting your kids involved, having them understand why you're doing what you're doing, understanding that you prioritize your health and that allows you to live a better life, having the things planned out to be successful. It's all of these lessons that whether you are competing or whether you are just lifestyle. You don't want to think of it as a diet. You want to think of it as I am creating the habits to have a healthy, happy life and that I can enjoy and really have a positive attitude because I'm sure that helps you also with what you do each and every day with not just the shows, not just performing, not just teaching, not just being a mom, but when you feel good about yourself and your health is in a good place because you're doing the things every single day to take care of that, that's what creates the amazing life. When people are miserable, a lot of times it's because they know or they feel guilty. They can't take care of themselves. They're not prioritizing the time. They feel guilty of what they're doing and what they're modeling. So, really understanding that it makes so much more of an impact than people realize when
Mhm.
you really take health and nutrition and training just as a priority in your life. It allows you to do more and give more.
Yeah, absolutely. And like just to piggyback on that too, when Matt and I we started working together. He's my drummer, but when we started working together, but before we were dating or anything, I was looking at him like, "What are you eating?" He was like the McDonald's, Wendy's. I don't think he actually went into a grocery store at any point. He just would go and get fast food. And once we started dating, I was like, okay, we're gonna like start cutting this down a little bit because this cannot be good. We were really young. We are like early 20s, and I was like, this is kind of gross, we can't be eating like this all the time. And it was a struggle because I eat everything. I love food. I eat seafood, everything. Just there's nothing that I don't like.
You know you love cod.
But he is very, very picky, and I know, like, luckily, my kids are not picky, and I know a lot of parents struggle with picky eaters, but I feel like over the years, it's like, if you just start with little tiny changes, once you start to feel better, which, it's going to be a gradual thing, but, like, with my husband, it was like, the first couple of years of these really small changes. Eventually, he would eat that kind of food and it didn't taste good to him. And it certainly didn't make him feel well. I don't think kids, they don't have that like they're eating it and it tastes good, but they don't really understand what it is to not feel well yet.
Right.
So I think that's a really important thing to remember as a parent is like you have to even if they're picky, you have to try and at least keep incorporating a little bit because eventually it's going to catch up, I think. And with adults too. I mean, obviously it's not difficult to change those habits, but it does take time. And and that being said, Matt is still a very picky eater compared to myself. So I joke because I'm making like usually 3 or 4 different kinds of meals for everybody at every mealtime. I'm the cook in the house. So when Roman was really little, I was making baby food. I was making my competition food. I was making Matt's food, which is totally different because I don't want to eat what he's eating. And then usually Sierra and me, we had the same palate. So she would eat similar and like a hodgepodge of all 4. But it was always, always different food. And people make fun of me. They're like, why are you doing this? I'm like, well, it's either that and I do this for my family and keep everybody healthy and happy, or I do something really easy and I'm going to pay for it later. And we're going to have doctor bills and we're going to have bad
Right.
habits at the beginning. It is really hard. And it's a huge sacrifice. It's not easy. I mean, Matt is like a chicken and beef person. I would rather eat anything else on the planet than chicken or beef. I want all the other stuff. So I'm always making myself something and then him something else. And it's tricky. It's really hard and it's time consuming. But I
Yeah,
think
that's a lot.
to me, it's a priority. It's worth it for my family.
That
Recent
He
is
takes
improvement too for the
that
air
should have been
fryer.
added to your intro.
I'm going to need an air fryer.
You're gonna need an air fryer. Cook everything all at once. These people go here in the air fryer, or if your fish is frozen, you throw it in there for 50.
I don't think we have the same amount of hours in our days. You gotta have like 28 or something. I don't know because that's a lot. That's a lot. But that's wow. I didn't even know all that. Yeah, that's
All
like
right.
right. Well,
Yeah.
and on top of that, so you got some big things coming up.
Yes.
I know 2026 is gonna be a crazy
Is
year for not only competition and just taking
Typical.
things to the next level, but then you got your shows, but now something that's really cool that we're excited about is the cruise. I wanna hear more about the cruise. Fill us in on the cruise. I wanna hear about
cruise, so
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're basically just doing a Royal Caribbean partnership, and it's an Amberley themed cruise. So it's basically just a really small group cruise for just like our friends, fans, and everybody who wants to be part of like a Nashville kind of themed Bahamas cruise. So we'll be doing a concert one of the nights. We're doing kind of like a cocktail meet and greet party one of the nights. And then the rest of the time is just, hanging out and enjoying the scenery. And there's going to be like line dancers here from Nashville that are coming to do like line dancing instruction. And it's just going to be really fun. Yeah,
You know,
it's going to be
count
a
me
great
on the
time.
line,
And that's
yeah,
it.
count me in. I'm there.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
so cool. I think that's just gonna be the most awesome thing, and anybody can go on this. So, I'll
Yeah,
be
and
posting
I
it
will
again
have the
in the stories.
information in the show notes for
Yeah.
everybody. There'll be links for Amberly, and you'll be able to find that information. So if you like to join us, you can go ahead and click that and join us there. And it also has all of her information, so you guys can follow her on Instagram and all the socials.
I say as
So
many people in a Masters fitness team that can go just so we can all be there and have that cruise together would be a lot of fun, for sure. That's gonna be very cool. And then, what else do we have that we wanted to cover? I know there was another and one more thing. I just had a brain
yeah,
fart.
question. You have to tell me your question, Calvin.
I know, I had a good one, and it
What was
just
your
slipped my
question?
mind. But no, that's good. That's good. I'm excited about that. So that would be a good closer. Well, the other thing too is I think we're gonna have it in the show notes is where can people find you to go see you like your shows in Nashville?
Yeah. So we have a lot of shows this year. We're traveling a lot. We'll be in like all the way from like the Keys in Florida all the way up to we're going to be in Maine in February. There's a whole bunch. Like we're just kind of all over the place. And then in Nashville, my home base is in Category 10, which is downtown. We're there a couple times a month. So it's pretty easy to catch. You can just check the website and amberly.com and see what the schedule is. So it's still building. So we'll be putting everything out as it comes. But right now there's shows all the way booked through June. So pretty busy. And then we'll be in your neck of the woods in January next month. So
Yay.
That's
pretty
right, at the
fun.
fairgrounds, right? And,
That's right. Yeah.
what's the date on that one? Because I'm gonna see if we can get some people together for that one.
I don't know right off the top of my head, but I will let you guys know. I think it's around the middle of the month, 17th maybe or
I don't
so.
think her brain can keep track of days at this time. She's
We'll see
got a
if we can
few
put
other
that in
things
the show
there.
notes and then because you're gonna do one in Orlando first, and then the next day you're gonna come down and do this one, right?
Yeah, then we'll be in West Palm, then we'll head back to Nashville. Yeah.
Fish, pack your fish.
Yep.
We'll
And
have
then
some
we
here
get to
on
do
standby.
the Seafood Fest in Marathon Key in March, which is always the most fun because it's like all the seafood you can eat.
Really?
Nice.
How did we not know about this?
It's great. We've done it actually almost every year since I was really little. They've always had us there on Sundays, and we haven't been able to do it the last few years. Like getting from Nashville is it's a long thing. Mm, We're making it happen this year, so we'll be there headlining it this year on Saturday night. So
Nice. Nice.
So
All
anybody
right,
wants to
guys.
come out and see Amber, it'll be all
Yes.
in the show notes.
All right. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Amberly, for being a guest on our podcast today. And we really appreciate you all tuning in. And if you wouldn't mind sharing a review, we would greatly appreciate it. And any comments, please post it in the show notes and we will see you next time. Ciao, guys.
yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Master Your Metabolism. If you found value in today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you'd hit subscribe and share this episode with someone who could use a little guidance in their health journey. Ready to take the next step? Head over to www.mastersfitnesscoaching.com and you can book a free call right from the site so we can chat about your goals and how we can help support you. Don't forget to join our Facebook group where we're sharing coaching tips, support, and tricks to help keep you on track and continue making progress. You don't have to do this alone. We're here to walk with you every step of the way. Until next time, stay consistent, stay kind to yourself, and keep mastering your metabolism. Let's do this together.